What is going on, y'all? My name is John, and this is Facemask Fantasy, bringing you new fantasy content every day right here on this channel. So if you have not subscribed already, please hit that button. And before I get into it, I just got to let y'all know that we are rolling out live streams. We have a live stream every Sunday at 10 a.m. to go over start-sit questions pre-kickoff, and we have a stream every Tuesday at 6:30 p.m. to go over everything that happened in last week's games and to go over waiver options before the waiver deadline early Wednesday morning. So tune in with us every Sunday and every Tuesday throughout the season, and hopefully we can help you win your fantasy leagues. But without further ado, let's get into some fantasy talk. And ESPN's Adam Schefter reports that Derrick Henry may have suffered a season-ending foot injury during Sunday's 34-31 win over Indianapolis. Henry is undergoing an MRI today to determine the full extent of the damage. The injury looks like it occurred on the Titans' second offensive drive. He was seen on the sideline in the first half with his shoe off, receiving attention from the Titans' medical staff before re-entering the game and operating as the team's workhorse as usual. Henry ended up having his worst game of the season, finishing with just 68 yards on 28 carries, and it was clear that he wasn't 100%. After the game, Henry did not speak to the media because he was already receiving treatment on his injury, according to multiple beat reporters. And Mike Vrabel said in his stead, and I quote, "We'll see where he's at and evaluate. He's excited for our football team. He'll tell you that, I'm sure, if given the opportunity to talk to him. But again, there's a lot of us that have to get some recovery and some rest." End quote. So honestly, I wasn't thinking much about Derrick Henry until this news dropped. And now the good news is that he didn't exit altogether, which is a great sign for his future availability. That gives us a little hope here. And there's a chance that we won't know much more about this injury until the first injury report of the week is released on Wednesday, but this is really unfortunate news. I really hope he's all good and this is just a scare. Let's hope if he's absent for any amount of time, it's just a short recovery timetable for whatever he's dealing with, because honestly, he's the most exciting running back in the league right now, and it's not even close. After rushing for 1,540 yards and 16 TDs in 2019 and rushing for 2,027 yards and 17 touchdowns in 2020, he's already amassed 937 yards and 10 TDs in 8 games, while already matching his career high in catches with 18 on the season. His high last year was 19, and he is on pace for 1,874 yards and 20 touchdowns on a 16-game pace, with more yards and receptions through the air than ever before. And obviously, we're going to have one more game added on to the regular season, so he could, based on the numbers, if he was healthy for every game this season, break that 2,000-yard mark again for the second consecutive season, which would be insane. Bottom line is last year, the year before last year, and most importantly this year, he's been a league winner. So again, let's hope that the MRI shows no structural damage and it's all up from here. But if this report is to be believed and Derrick Henry is dealing with a season-ending injury, who picks up the slack in this offense for however long he's out? Well, Darrynton Evans was just placed on IR, and it is his second IR stint of the season, and he's most likely destined to be out until the 2022 season, so he is not a factor. The biggest winner here of this situation, and I hate to frame it that way, but let's be real, it is. The biggest winner here is Jeremy McNichols. Jeremy McNichols most recently caught 8 of 12 targets for 74 yards, adding 11 yards on his 1 carry in the Titans' Week 4 loss to the Jets. But that had more to do with the team being without A.J. Brown and Julio Jones and Anthony Ferkser than the team wanting to get McNichols involved on a week-to-week game plan to that extent. That Week 4 outing is about all he's done this year of note, outside of a short receiving touchdown in Week 3. Henry's passing down back just hasn't had the value this year in a world where Henry is averaging 2.5 targets per game himself, more than ever before. McNichols has been around the league since 2017, and he was originally drafted by the Bucs in the 5th round, and he bounced around the league, spending time with the Niners and the Colts until he found a home with the Titans in 2020. He's currently 25 years old, and last year in 2020, he had 47 rushes for 204 yards and 1 touchdown on the ground, along with 12 catches on 17 targets for 55 scoreless yards through the air. Highly touted coming out of college in 2017, McNichols amassed 4,294 yards from scrimmage over the course of his 3-year college career, with 2,183 of those yards coming in 2016, his senior season. He handled 351 touches, and 27 of those found the end zone in his final season. He's got great athletic measurables. He ran a 4.49 40-yard dash and had a 3-cone drill time of 6.93. He's 5'9", 214 pounds, has a 31.8 BMI, which bodes well for his ability to be a 3-down back for however long Henry is out. With his plus pass catching chops, I could see him being a high-end RB2 for however long Henry is out, with how this team historically leans on its running backs. Now, I know that has a lot to do with the fact that Derrick Henry is a guy that you can lean on from an offensive perspective. He can be your whole offense. Now, no running back is going to come in and approximate what Derrick Henry's been able to bring to the table, but Jeremy McNichols is next man up. He's versatile, he's durable, and the options behind him are Kari Blasingame and Dontrell Hilliard and Mekhi Sargent. Mekhi Sargent has 2 rushes on the year so far, and he's currently on their practice squad. Dontrell Hilliard has 4 rushes on the year thus far, and he's also currently on the Titans practice squad. So McNichols should carry a significant workload moving forward with that minimal competition behind him for touches while Henry is out. Now, Blasingame and Hilliard and Mekhi Sargent aren't bad pickups as dart throw RB4s, just in case the news on Henry turns out to be bad. It's better to prepare for the worst than expect the best. In Dynasty, especially a speculative ad on one of these guys, if you miss out on a McNichols, if you have the roster space, isn't the worst idea in the world. We could see a situation where McNichols operates as the 3rd down back, and they have Blasingame or Hilliard or Sargent, or literally just all 3 in a biddy, play the 1st and 2nd down role in Henry's absence. And I'm not going to rule out the Texans going out and signing a free agent back or trading for one from an RB-rich team. Marlon Mack could finally find a new home in Tennessee. They could trade for a Mike Boone. They could trade for a Matt Breida. They could trade for a Peyton Barber. They could go and sign somebody like Jordan Wilkins, who was just cut from an NFL team just last week. Honestly, I'd expect them to go out and sign somebody, because Jeremy McNichols, despite the fact that he is next man up, and if he were to get the entire role to himself, he would be a high-end RB2. He hasn't ever been trusted as a rusher by this team or any team in the NFL, and they've relied on him mostly as a pass-catching back. We could theoretically see him continue to operate solely as a pass-catching back option in this backfield, but as he's pretty much next man up, last man standing, he's got the role all to himself, and there's really nobody of note behind him. So in a vacuum, McNichols is an RB2 while Henry is out as a game script proof backup. He's one of the few in the league, and it's crazy how the narratives that have pushed Pollard and Dillon up rankings all season have just passed Jeremy McNichols by, when he's the direct backup with minimal competition to arguably the most valuable role for a running back in all fantasy football in 2021. He should be the #1 waiver wire pickup this week, and if the news ends up being that it is a season-ending injury that Derrick Henry is dealing with, Jeremy McNichols could be a league winner for a team struggling at RB. As for the other pieces in this offense should rely more on Tannehill for however long Henry is out. His absence pushes more touches in this offense to whoever is starting at wide receiver and tight end as well. So AJ Brown gets a little bit of a boost, but he was always a wide receiver 1 when healthy. Julio could see increased touches if he were actually to make it through a full game this season, or at the very least see the field. In his stead, Chester Rogers and Nick Westbrook-Ikhine will most likely see a bump in usage, but neither are really wide receiver 4s in fantasy until further notice. And Anthony Ferkser, Jeff Swaim, and Michael Pruitt, the current trio at tight end for the Titans, should be more involved in Henry's absence, but I'm not advocating starting any of them in fantasy. But what do you guys think about the Titans offense in light of this really unfortunate news? Are you going out and picking up Jeremy McNichols like me? Do you expect the Titans to go out and sign a Todd Gurley or go out and trade for a Marlon Mack in light of this news? Put your thoughts in the comments section below. My name is John with Facemask Fantasy, bringing you new fantasy content every day right here on this channel. So if you have not subscribed already, please hit that button. Thank you for listening and have a great day.